And now to the continuing political and economic crisis in Venezuela. In a non-binding national referendum organized by opposition groups, nearly 1/3 of the national electorate have called on President Nicolas Maduro to give up the idea of electing a special assembly whose primary task, we're told, is to put together a new constitution. Now, Maduro says the referendum is illegal, and he vowed to push forward with a July 30th vote to elect the special assembly. Now, opposition groups blocked the streets of Caracas on Thursday with sandbags and wooden planks as they called for a national day of strike. Police removed some of the barricades to allow traffic to start moving again. The 24-hour strike was meant as an expression of disapproval for Maduro's constitutional assembly plan. The opposition is calling for a boycott of the July 30th election, which would essentially bypass the opposition-controlled legislature and entrench Maduro's hold on Venezuela. And for more on the socio-economic crisis that has left parts of Venezuela in a virtual standstill, we are joined from our UN studio in New York by VOA Spanish Service broadcaster Celia Mendoza. Thank you. And live on Skype, apparently by phone from Caracas, Venezuela, by VOA reporter and producer Alvaro Algarra. Bienvenido. Gracias. Thank you both for joining us. Alvaro, I'll ask you the first question. You've been in the capital, Caracas, for some time now. Where are we seeing the protests? There's a lot of unrest there. What's it like, I guess, in Caracas as we head into this weekend?
Yes, sir. Good morning to all the audience that is watching us this time in Voice of America. Effectively, it's been 110 days, difficult days for the democracy in Venezuela. Yesterday we had a strike for 24 hours. That was so difficult to walk in Venezuela. It was impossible. Right now, the opposition is electing the members of the maximum supreme against the government. It's very difficult. It's been 99 deaths in 110 days, and the crisis still permanent. There is no food, there is no medicines in Venezuela. The people want elections, sir.
Right. Alvaro, the turnout was pretty large. I think we have estimates of 7.2 to 7.5 million voters. What did they tell you? Did you speak to any of them? What are their big concerns as under Maduro's leadership?
Yes, sir. They want the people, the opposition people want elections. They don't want any violence. They manifestate this weekend on Sunday. 7 million of people want elections in Venezuela. They don't want to be with President Maduro all the time in the government. They want a change, pacific change. They don't want more blood in the streets of Venezuela. Right. It's very difficult what we're living in Venezuela, including me.
We can talk a little bit more about that. But Celia, I want to get you into this conversation. Now, Sunday's referendum, as you know, was not sanctioned by the government and therefore has no legal authority. But has the international community weighed in about this referendum?
They have, Neil. One of the things is the most important thing in terms of what the United Nations have said is they have pretty much just sent a message to Maduro and its government to let the elections happen, to protect the freedom of speech, to be able to go through all these processes that is being speared by the National Assembly. However, we have seen strong messages from countries, and for example, the United States through their State Department and the President of the United States, who actually said that this is illegal. They have recognized it. The European Union have done the same. And something that is very key is they have condemned the efforts by the government of Nicolas Maduro to continue with the efforts of July 30th. They actually have threatened with sanctions if they continue with this day of election where they will try to change the constitution of the country. It wasn't only a threat coming from the United States, it also was a threat coming from the European Union when Federica Mogherini had said that this effort from the government of Nicolas Maduro is not good for the country. country is not good for the region.
And I hear, Celia, that the White House is threatening sanctions. What would those sanctions do? Who would they affect?
Well, definitely the United States is not new to sanctions against individuals in Venezuela, and that's something that they will continue. Starting on Tuesday, we have reports of sanctions and 2 possible individuals, the Minister of Defense, Vladimir Padrino, as well as the second in command of the party, of the Socialist Party, the party that is in the government, and that will be Diosdado Cabello. Those sanctions are in particular to those individuals, their assets, their funds. But now they're considering a possible second phase, and that's something that is very taunting for the government of Maduro, is the possibility of the oil sector to be punished. And that will be, for the first time, a sanction that will affect directly the people of Venezuela. It will make more difficult the access to money, but also for the people will be food, and as Alvaro was saying, this shortage of medicine. And one of the big issues also, and that's something the White House is considering, Venezuela is the 3rd largest provider to the United States of oil. After Saudi Arabia and Canada, Venezuela is the largest 3rd provider, and that will mean that we, the people that live in the United States, will see some effects and on the pumps at the time of trying to get gas, because those prices could go up. But it's something that President Trump says that he's willing to do if he seems needed, and they will do it before even the July 30th vote.
Alvaro, as Celia mentioned, it really is the economy that is driving a lot of the unrest there in Venezuela. Venezuela as a country used to enjoy one of the higher standards of living in that part of the world, but that was before oil prices tanked. What's the economy like right now in Caracas, where you are?
Every day I see how families are hungry on the streets. Before, we didn't see that on the streets. People need food. There is no food enough in Venezuela. There is no medicine. People is asking for medicine. They want to open the human channel for getting the medicines and food that all the countries are offering in Venezuela, but the government doesn't want to open it. That's very important. Another thing important is the censorship in all the media in Venezuela. That's the importance of America and all those media that want to know. They let know what is real going on in Venezuela.
Right. Celia, let me give you the last word on this. I got like about 10 seconds. Are there any possible solutions being proposed by the United Nations, for example, on how to avert a larger crisis in Venezuela?
The United Nations had kept aside of this issue in particular. They're asking for dialogue, and that's one of the main things. However, the partners in the region, the OAS, is trying to get a table to be able to talk. And Financial Times just spoke this week about the possibility, and this will be something under the table that is being worked out from the president of Colombia, who visited Cuba, and that may be working with Maduro, Colombia, Cuba, and the United States to try to get to a democratic solution. And we in VOA are following all what is happening, and as you said, Alvaro, in Caracas is going to be during the election on the 30th in VOA Noticias, and we're trying
I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more from you. Thank you very much, Celia and Alvaro. Thank you, cuidado. We're going to take another break right now, but when we come back, the latest on efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare and how that's working out for Republican lawmakers. That's coming up next. But first, a reminder, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts, questions, and comments on our Facebook page. The address is VOA The Correspondents. We'll be right back.